What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of D4 ReZero Season 2. This is episode... where are we now? Episode 23?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with me, as always, I have Blue Space.
So this has to be, like, the most action-heavy episodes that I've seen, like... Well, I would say, like, since the end of the Witch Cult arc from back in the end of Season 1, because I haven't seen, like, this much action ever since this season started.
Yeah, like, most of the episode we have, like, the fight scene between Garfield and Elsa, and, like, it's incredibly brutal. And I also like the way it's shot, too, where, like, you occasionally, like, see their silhouettes against the fire. But yeah, we actually, because I was kind of disappointed in the last episode that we didn't really focus as much on the mansion. But this episode focuses much more on, like, what's going on in the mansion.
It's actually split into, like, 3 different parts. I mean, well, the first thing, let's talk about what's going on with Emilia's final trial. So, if we remember where we left off, like, the last thing we hear, like, she gets told, like, get ready for, like, the upcoming disaster that it's about to happen. So, we don't really get to see much of this trial. It's like, I mean, I thought, you know, I would see a little bit more of what's going to happen. All we ever get to see is Emilia standing, which I would assume is like the burned down mansion or something like that.
No. I think that might be the capital, like the I think that's the kingdom of Lagunica, like where we if you remember in between arc 2 and 3 in the first season, I think that's I think that might be the I guess you would say the capital of Lagunica or whatever, because if I remember correctly, like in arc 5, it has to do with the witch cult attacking I guess the capital or the kingdom of Lagunica itself. So that could be. I think what we're seeing in this trial is like a glimpse into what's in arc 5, because we see that and then we hear. And I was like trying to remember like if I'd heard any of this dialogue before, because after we see that glimpse of like Emilia covered in blood, she's like in an empty void, and we just hear all this dialogue between different characters. Some of the characters I recognize. Some of them, it sounded like one of them was Roswell. I think one was Reinhardt.
I think another one was Garfield, like I noticed.
Yeah, I think another one might have been the I forget what that girl's name was. Hostinsha or the girl with the cat bodyguard people.
I think. Are you talking about the candidate for the royal candidate?
Yeah. I think that might have been her, because she has that like.
Are you talking about Anastasia Hoshin, or is it?
Yeah, that's right. Anastasia, I think that might have been one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we haven't heard any of this dialogue before, so I think this is all taken from, I guess, potentially arc 5. So I was I guess I was correct on assuming that we were going to see like glimpses of arc 5, because because it was saying like behold the disaster that is about to occur. And I guess in arc 5, based on what I know of it, it's like, the witch cult is going to invade the capital, I guess minor spoilers. So that, I guess that's the disaster they're referring to.
I mean, overall, like she didn't have much of a problem getting through this trial. I mean, unless
all she really had to do was just kind of listen to it. Like, she didn't really have to
unless she really saw something that we couldn't see, which I mean, she did see that.
Well, she also at the end of it saw like Subaru and Rem standing there, like their silhouettes, which I'm not exactly sure. Kind of wondering why she saw Subaru or Rem.
Well, I'm just curious, like, why just Rem in particular, seeing as, like, her existence got completely erased, but...
Yeah, she doesn't remember who Rem is, so... Yeah, I'm not sure why she saw that.
But, at the end of the trial, she gets teleported to, is it that witch's tea party out in the field, and initially she thought that she was going to meet Echidna at the tea party, but she's not there, and the only witch we get to see is, of course, Minerva.
Yeah, and Minerva just, like, comes up behind her and tells her, like, not to turn around. it's weird. Like, I mean, a lot of people have like a lot of theories that they think that Minerva is Emilia's real mother and stuff. Like, I don't know how, because I mean, maybe personality wise they're similar, but appearance wise they look nothing alike. So I can't see that. I think it's possible that she may have known who Emilia's mother was, like the other witches possibly, or because apparently she is one of the witches. But she explains that apparently the reason the Kitten is not there is because she doesn't want to talk to Emilia, because apparently Emilia did something to hurt her in the previous trial, which I don't. What do you think she did? Because I don't really.
I don't know.
I have no idea what.
Like, I feel like it's more of a fit of jealousy after seeing her, like, I guess, let go of her past or something like that.
Yeah. Kitten is definitely much more like emotional around Emilia.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think you mentioned, if we remember, like, she's called, what was it, the Witch of Envy? So she's...
Well, no,
the
Witch of Greed.
Yeah, so she... Well, it's like I said, it's. I think it just comes down to more of like, it's more of jealousy or envy, of her part of seeing Emilia, in a much happier position that than she would have expected.
I suppose so. But yeah, so Emilia does like eventually turn around and
Minerva, she doesn't really physically see her face. I mean, Minerva's one who told her, like, it's a good thing that you're not turning around. And, like, all she did, like, even though she did turn around, she just, like, hugs her, but she doesn't really physically see her face. Even when, Minerva tells her to walk out that door and her trial's complete.
Yeah. And of course, then when she gets back into the tomb, she walks into, like, there's that one door that's been closed the whole time. Now it's open. The door leads to a room where apparently the real Echidna is entombed, and that's where the barrier is. I guess where the activate, or the barrier is being activated from. So much like with the flashbacks, we still don't see like Echidna's face. It's still like being obscured when we see her body. And Emilia like makes a comment to where it's like, what'd she say? Like, I don't recognize her or something like that. Like, I don't.
She doesn't. She doesn't know who she is, even though like she's seen her at least several times in the trial. So it's pretty safe to say that like the appearance of the real Echidna is different than the ones we see in the trials, or various different visions.
I'm just wondering how different it is, because like everything else looks the same. It's just like there must be something about her face that looks different. But we're not at least in the anime, like we can't even see like what her face actually looks like, as opposed to how she looks in the trials.
So but in the end she does finally take down the barrier after completing the third and final trial. But as she's, walking out of the tomb, we see her walking out where the entire sanctuary is covered in a blizzard already, which, well, the timing of these events are a bit off, despite of like, them being played around in the same episode. But we could assume that the end of Emilia's trial in this scene could take place after the events of like, the other two scenes we're about to mention. So... I think so. So the next major event is we're back at the mansion, and this was literally the most intense and brutal fight scene we've ever seen in the series.
Basically it's it's pretty much a majority of the rest of this episode is like this fight between Elsa and Garfield, and it's a great looking fight scene. Like it's pretty fluid, and it just looks really good.
However, like at the same time during the fight scene, like Subaru and the others are trying to get away from that giant dog winged mob beast.
The Guilty Low, or whatever it was called.
I forgot what it was called. But
the Guilty Low,
Like Subaru manages to lure it away, to the point where he takes it to the room where he tries to burn it with like some kind of flammable powder, but it ends up not working. So Otto uses like bottles of oil that he stashed away, and then just completely douses the mob beast, and then just completely burns it until it jumps out of a window to the ground.
Yeah, but unfortunately, these flames end up spreading to the entirety of the
mansion, and pretty much,
it seems like it's going to burn down.
And then of course, back to the fight between Elsa and Garfield. Like I said, their fight is just brutal. And at one point, I literally thought like Garfield gouged one of her eyes out, but then like it just seemed like nothing happened to her. And then she finally reveals that she can literally heal from any major injury that that Garfield like deals with her. It's like you can see blood on her face, but like she has like almost no damage to her whatsoever.
Garfield apparently believes that Elsa might be a vampire because of her regenerative abilities. I think, okay, so I should mention she is not actually a vampire. So in Japan, they released a novel alongside the Blu-ray release for ReZero Season 2. And the novel is about Elsa and Melee. It's called Apocalypse Girls. And basically, this episode kind of goes into a part of that novel, which is Elsa's origin story. But the novel further explains that Elsa is basically something known as a cursed doll. I don't remember exactly what it is, but apparently cursed dolls have like regenerative abilities and are in some ways, I suppose, like immortal or something. But she's not a vampire, so people like might actually think she is a vampire after this episode. She's not. Just to clarify.
Yeah. But during the same time at the fight, like Melee does end up showing up at the same time, and Frederica also joins in the fight as well. So Melee tries to sick her giant hippo mob beast to Garfield, but of course Garfield ends up easily killing it by just killing the hippo mob beast after like literally twisting its neck like I don't know, like maybe two-three times before just ripping it off. And then of course the finale of the fight is that what happened? I think Frederica drags Melee away from the fight, and then the end of it is Garfield just charges at Elsa and then just starts biting down at her neck, and then soon afterwards Elsa just immediately does the same. and then of course literally by the end of it, like Garfield just pretty much picks up that hippo mob beast's corpse and then just completely just tosses at her, which presumably crushes her to death. But do you think she's dead? Or because I don't know. It's hard for me to tell that she's really dead, considering the amount of times that she's healed from these ridiculous wounds. I mean, she had her entire right side of her face just completely torn off like Garfield before like completely healing again. So it's hard for me to really believe that she's really dead, like after having that thing like thrown at her. I mean, she can just literally just come back out of nowhere again.
And I suppose we might have seen the last of the Roswell mansion too.
Yeah,
it seems like the entire place is going to burn to the ground.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the final sequence we see is, of course, the continuation of the Roswell and Rom and Puck fight, and it pretty much went as well as I expected it to. Like, of course, Roswell does end up taunting Rom at least several times, and then of course they had like several good exchanges between each other. But of course, like
Rom also confesses her love to Roswell,
which took me by surprise. Because
I'm just wondering why, though. Like, like Roswell would say, it kind of makes more sense for her to want revenge than for her to feel the way she does. Like, she just says like she just felt that way, and I just don't know why. Like, that's what I want to know.
I mean, like this does end up momentarily distracting Roswell for Puck to.
I wonder if she's lying just to, like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It seems like it could be like a tactic she was used to mess with him.
It just like literally came out of nowhere, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, Puck, this gives Puck an opening to, to attack Roswell again, and then Rom uses that opportunity to to strike at Roswell, but of course we find out that she just ended up swiping the gospel from Roswell, which Roswell doesn't take too kindly with her taking it, and then soon afterwards she just like throws it into the fire, which completely destroys the gospel. And the last we see is her getting engulfed in a giant explosion caused by Roswell, and that's pretty much the end of the episode.
It really seemed the way the scene played out, it seemed like Rom was caught up in it too. So it's like, hopefully she's okay. I mean, I know she probably is, considering she's still alive in the light novels, but it really made it seem like Rom is like basically just got killed. But yeah. So yeah, I guess whatever happened, like the snow ended up falling on the sanctuary. So hopefully all the villagers are out, so that they don't get eaten by the great rabbit. But I guess like what we can expect from this point onward is Subaru needs to get Beatrice out, and Beatrice will probably go and help out with the sanctuary to possibly destroy the great rabbit, and then that's basically, I'm assuming that's the end of it, and also of course to possibly fight Roswell, considering he's probably not been defeated. But his Tome of Wisdom is burned, so that's one thing.
Yeah, and well, I mean, we'll have to find out in the next 2 episodes, but overall, this is like one of the best episodes this season.
Yeah, for sure. This was the most action-packed, and the definitely probably my favorite so far, honestly. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. It was a great episode, and really great fight scenes, especially the fight scene between Elsa and Garfield. Really excited for the next week's episode, and I think we only have like 2 more to go, don't we?
Yeah, I think we only have 2 more to go. Assuming
so, we're getting close to the end.
Yeah.
Here's hoping for the potential announcement of a season 3 afterwards. But one can hope. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about this.
No, I thought this was a good episode. Like, I mean, I was disappointed the way it ended. I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more, but of course we have to wait another week and 2 just to see, finally see the conclusion of this arc.
Yeah. But so that all being said, until next Wednesday, we will see you all next time.